Del Mar College has nationally recognized opportunities focused on local community needs. Its caliber of education prepares students to compete in the real world. The alumni will tell you that Del Mar College prepared them well for academic transfer or for immediate employment. These are some of the great opportunities happening at Del Mar now. I'm Amy Mintz, Associate Professor of Child Development Early Childhood at Del Mar College. Dr. Mark Escamilla, the president of Del Mar College, is with us. We'll talk with him about some of the changes coming for the college. We'll also talk with the chair of the Del Mar College Board of Regents, Trey McCampbell. He'll explain to us about this year's legislative session. We've got some great information coming your way this next half hour. Don't go away. This is Del Mar Now. Our first guest is the president of Del Mar College. He's been at the college since 2008. He completed his lower division coursework at Del Mar College between 1987 and 1990. He earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 1992 and a master's degree in counseling in 1995 from Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. In 2001, he earned his Ph.D. in educational administration with a specialization in community college leadership from the University of Texas at Austin. Please welcome back to Del Mar Now, Dr. Mark Escamilla.
Oh, thanks.
Hi, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with us today.
My pleasure, Amy.
Okay. Well, there's been many changes since you started at Del Mar College, and the most current are the future for the college.
Yeah.
Tell us what's included in that capital improvement program and how the 2014 bond proposal is to improve Del Mar students.
Well, as you know, last November, the citizens of Del Mar College voting district came together and voted in favor of a $157 million bond package for the improvements of our existing campuses. So of that $157 million, $118 million will be steered towards and directed towards our East Campus. Approximately $38 million will be allocated for improving educational buildings at our West Campus, and a little bit less than $2 million will be used for planning our South Campus. That will only be used for planning and some site maintenance. Out on the East Campus, what we're looking forward to doing is leveling several buildings out there and adding back the equivalent square footage, primarily for general academics. That's what we're looking forward to doing. In fact, we're at the forefront of that right now, and lots of planning is taking place to accomplish that. At the end of that project at East Campus, what we'll do is we'll realize the same square footage, it's about time for a couple of those buildings out there that are really suffering. But so West Campus will experience a net growth of approximately 40,000 square feet. That will be used for an industrial technology complex, as well as the expansion of some general education space. The $2 million on South Campus, it's 1.8 actually, again will be used for planning. We'll kick off a master planning session protocol this year. This next academic year, and we'll begin master planning that 95 acres that we purchased back in 2012 at the intersections of Yorktown and Rodfield Road. And so that's basically what's going on with that 157. So lots of planning is going on right now.
All right, and sounds like a lot of it's headed towards the east, revamping, building on the west, and possibly on the south side eventually. Does the Del Mar College have any priorities, or what's the time frame on each one of these three different campuses?
Well, we began immediately. In fact, the day after the vote, administration had meetings scheduled. We were either going to cancel and get right to it, is what we had planned on. Again, thanks to the voters for that great show of support, or back off. But fortunately, the vote passed, and we began having construction meetings right away to begin determining, what the needs were of the campus, and that's what we're going through right now. Administration, along with our coordinating architect, have been meeting with the groups since November, meeting with the groups that are going to be affected by these changes at the college, of which there'll be many. There'll be, again, new construction. And there will also be some several renovations. We'll renovate the White Library, the Harvard Student Center, as well as the current administration building, which will be turned into a one-stop shop for first-time students. It's that front-end kind of opportunity for students to come in and be received for enrollment, to be admitted, to be tested in financial aid, as well as the bursar's office and those sorts of things. So we'll have kind of a welcome center as well. So lots of renovations, lots of new space as well.
Okay, well that sounds exciting. You said thank you to the voters for making this happen.
Absolutely.
So how does the Coastal Bend benefit from Del Mar College, and what's its economic impact?
Well, it's actually very large. It's over $700 million a year by way of our existence. That's a huge number, and it's very complex. What we mean by that is by way of our existence, by way of our output, both production of salaries, economic impact overall, both of students, current students, graduates, employees, and the whole benefit by way of our very existence has a very profound impact here locally. You know, outside of that, the mission of Del Mar College is absolutely critical to developing the workforce. And I want to be very clear about that workforce. Whenever someone uses the term workforce, right away someone envisions a person welding or doing something. Well, what I always try to remind everybody is raise your hand if you woke up and went to work this morning. Well, congratulations, you're in the workforce is what I say, just like we did this morning. So our curriculum is very comprehensive, and we're preparing the welders, certainly, the technicians, the health professionals, as well as teachers and doctors and physicians and attorneys and every type of career almost under the sun that you can imagine. We're preparing those students, and so we have a profound effect on the workforce. You know, at any given year, we produce about 15 to 16, almost 1,700, depending on the year, graduates. And so that's a huge number of individuals who are getting out there with these certifications and degrees, and again, out there making a great living, great wages, great careers, and taking care of their families. It's just a wonderful thing that the college does for the community.
Well, we're glad it's here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you mentioned the south side, and that's the side that's growing in Corpus Christi, and there's 95 acres that are set aside. I know it's just kind of in the beginning planning, but can you tell us what's on the plan for the south side, 95 acres?
Well, that's to be determined, and that's the whole idea behind the master planning. Part of, again, the bond package for the last, that came forth in November of last year, included $1.8 million. About half of that, more or less. It's approximately 50% of that. Of those dollars will be used, again, for master planning. What the college is looking to do right now is engaging a firm, a design firm that'll come in and work with the college community as well as the greater community out in the externals, if you will, and work to devise a plan, to put forth a plan to establish that footprint of the 95 acres for the foreseeable future. The idea is to execute a vision that has really been set forth by the Board of Regents, and that's their job, and our job is to articulate that with this firm. So we'll engage the firm, work with the faculty, staff, students, and community to make sure that we have a blueprint, if you will, for the future of that 95 acres. Now, from the academic standpoint, what it might look like is very similar to our full campuses on East and West.
Okay. So
what we're talking about is having a location that has as its basis the core education, the basics, that's what the folks in the community call it, our core education requirements, as well as developmental ed and GED and AB, adult basic ed, and all of those kind of underpinnings, if you will, of our foundational requirements for our instruction, as well as some possible signature programs.
Oh, exciting.
Programs such as architecture, engineering, global information systems, computer science, computer information systems, and possibly restaurant management and culinary arts as well. So what you'll have is a foundation of core types of educational offerings with some signature programs, approximately 4 or 5, maybe even more. There is even thoughts of a program that doesn't exist yet, and so our programs that don't exist as possibilities as well. So
Well, that's exciting.
It is.
Some new stuff then happening out there.
Yes,
hopefully.
absolutely.
Tell us about some of the college's new programs or partnerships that you're most excited about.
We're very fortunate to have great friends and partners out in the community. We work very closely with the Craft Training Center of the Coastal Bend. They're a very close partner. In fact, we credential every one of their students as a Del Mar College student as well.
Great.
So we work very, very closely with them, closer than we ever have, actually. And we work with Dr. Sandrusi and the board out there to make sure that that partnership continues to develop. So we're always excited about that. Certainly the school districts are kind of our bread and butter. We maintain very close ties with all those school districts, and I make it a point to, on a regular basis, get out and work with those superintendents. But the part, and what's evolving now with our local industry, with that massive boom that's taking place, is a lot of fun, actually. And so we have partnerships, very close partnerships with Cheniere Energy. We have partnerships with Voestalpine. We have partnerships with M&G. We have partnerships with TPCO. And of course, all the existing Citgo, Valero, Flint Hills, and all the like, Oxy, all of those partnerships, Kiewit and so forth. We have partnerships with every one of those. And it's exciting to be here with this huge economic boom with them as a partner.
Definitely.
And provide that training that's so necessary.
Well, I saw the giant Cheniere plant that's going up, and I'm thankful that our graduates can have a future workforce place, relatively soon.
Oh, absolutely. There'll be so many jobs. There already is quite a few jobs. Even with the slowdown right now of the oil field, what we're hearing is people are coming from those jobs out in the oil field. They're coming back to Del Mar College. They're retraining, they're retooling, if you will, and they're preparing for, that next stage in their career. I talked to a young man the other day when I was over at West Campus, and he was a prime example of what's going on out there. He said, right now where things are slowing down, he goes, I'm coming back to school and I'm going to get more training so that I can have a more steady career for the future. And so that's what we're thinking.
Smart man.
He's a very smart man. He is, indeed.
Well, if individuals have questions about the College Capital Improvement Program, what number should they call, or what website could they get more information from?
Certainly there's much information is posted at our website, www.delmar.edu. You can approach it from different angles there. If there's any questions, certainly call our office at 698-1203. And we can direct you to the appropriate office depending on the question that they may have.
Okay, well, Dr. Escamilla, thanks for chatting with us today.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
We're taking a short break, but the chair of the Del Mar College Board of Regents, Trey McCampbell, is next. Don't go away.
I used to dream. I was thinking less about overtime and more about family time. Today, I am.
Go from I dream to I am. Del Mar College. Dreams delivered.
Catch the Viking spirit. Nationally recognized and locally focused, Del Mar College has been delivering dreams for over 75 years. If Del Mar College has touched your life, join the Vikings Alumni Association and help others achieve their dreams. Stay connected. Support scholarships. Explore the Viking Career Network. Join online today at delmar.edu/alumni for as little as $10 and get a free t-shirt. Show your Viking pride.
Plan your next event at Del Mar College's Richardson Performance Hall. Our facility accommodates conferences, concerts, religious events, and private parties. We have 3 lounges, balcony elevators, and a convenient drive-up drop-off. For productions, Richardson Performance Hall has more than 1,700 seats and is outfitted with staging, rigging, lighting, and sound capabilities, plus many patron and performer amenities. Book your next event at Richardson Performance Hall. We create dreams one event at a time. For more information, call 361-698-2228.
For more information about Del Mar Now, log on to www.delmar.edu/now. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions to help us improve Del Mar Now, send an email to now at delmar.edu.
Our final guest is the chair for the Del Mar College Board of Regents. He was elected as a regent at large in 2004 and re-elected in 2010. He serves as Chief Administrative Officer for American Bank. He earned an associate's degree from Del Mar College, a bachelor's in business administration from Texas A&I University, Corpus Christi, and a master's in business administration from Corpus Christi State University, now known as Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Trey McCampbell. Thanks for being with us today.
I'm always glad to be with you, Amy. This is a great show. Thank you for having me.
Okay, well, would you share with us your views on how some of the college's priorities were or were not addressed in the last legislative session?
This last legislative session was something interesting. I tell you, every time we go through one of these, we think they're going to get better, and they seem to get worse. A little bit of history that I think is important for the viewers out there. You know, our community college system in Texas is over 3/4 of a century old. And it was started to fill in the gaps between the universities, and the idea was local taxpayers would pay for brick and mortar, and the state would pay or help pay a substantial part of tuition. About 20 years ago, the state started reducing that amount. We went from about 25, 26 years ago where they were paying over 70%. They're now only reimbursing us for about 18%. And that trend continued again this legislative session, which was disappointing, certainly at least, but just a little shocking that our state doesn't understand the importance of community college education. 2 years ago in the last session, what they did was set up some incentive-based funding to try to be like a lot of businesses. And we understand that the purpose of that. They set aside 10% of the money that we had already earned from student contact hours and said, we're going to make that incentive reimbursement based upon student success points. And the way they figured the formula out was we would get $1.85 for every time a student reached one of those particular success points. And this time when funding what they set up last year, instead of funding at $1.85, they funded it at $1.74. So we had another reduction, a totaling of about $1.1 million in our budget for this year. And I say for this year, it's really for the next 2 years because the legislative session we just went through sets the reimbursement funding for the next 2 years. And so that's really disappointed that they've reduced our money again. To further make it worse is that some of the rules surrounding this are not really favorable to community colleges and really to students. For example, a student could start a degree program here, could instead of maybe going the full 2 years, get out after a year, maybe with a certificate, and get out because they're going to be gainfully employed. They're going straight to work, making a good salary, and yet they don't count towards the student success points. So it's just a system we are having to learn to adapt to, but it really means that it didn't address some of our priorities, which was to fully fund the contact hours that our students are taking so that we're able to give that back to our community.
Okay, so it's not fully meeting some of our priorities, so we're going to have to make some adjustments at the college level. How do you think Del Mar can make some of these adjustments given the current challenges to meet the goals from the 2014-2019 strategic plan?
Well, certainly when you have $1.1 million less coming from state funding, it does impact and there have to be adjustments made. The bulk of our income for the college comes from this, the reimbursement from the state. It comes from students, from tuition from the students, and it comes from taxes from the local citizens and taxing base. So there's a sort of a three-pronged stool, you might say, or a three-legged stool that we rest on. And of course, as I said, the leg of the stool that is related to the state gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and you either have to cut expenses or you have to increase tuition or increase taxes. With regards to that, the college is already operating, as we call it in the business world, fairly lean and mean, and that goes back to the 2008, 9, 10 period when we were in the Great Recession. And we meaning the college and administration and everyone pitched in, did a great job of cutting expenses and doing what we needed to do to survive those really tough economic times. So another business expression is there's not a lot of fat on the bone in terms of reducing expenses even further. So that means you either have to increase tuition more than you like, or you have to increase taxes. What we think is going to happen, because keep in mind we're in the middle now of the budgeting process, we budget during the summer for approval in August by the Board of Regents, and then it goes into effect in September. The key moving parts of that is certainly what a legislative funding is, and we just found that out. It also is what the local tax base is doing. We have been fortunate because we live in a community in which our tax base is growing. Think about all that we hear about Eagleford, all the work with the port, all of the strengthened businesses. Texas has not fared as bad as the country, and Corpus Christi has done really pretty well when it comes to even Texas economies. What that means, maybe to simplify it, is that if the amount of taxable property and value goes up, we don't have to keep increasing the rate. And truthfully, we've been able to kind of keep the taxes fairly level, and that's what's helping us. But we won't always have that situation. Years down the road, we may not have an increasing taxing base. It might be level. Bottom line is that shifts the burden locally from the state is what that's happening, and we have to change our priorities.
Okay, well, it sounds like there's a plan in place, and we've got some fortune from our community helping us out a little bit. So what are some of the new or different college projects that the students may expect to see this next academic year? You're excited to see.
There's always so many great things going on at Del Mar College, and it's exciting to be a part of the team here. One of the projects that just had a little bit of news time was the Emergency Training Building on the West Campus. That is a joint project between Del Mar College and the Federal Emergency Management Administration, or FEMA. And it's what we call the Dome Project. In fact, in the news recently was the raising of the dome, kind of a spectacular sort of thing to see. That's a project that's funded partially by the federal government, because when we have a disaster like a hurricane, then it becomes an emergency disaster center for FEMA to operate from, and that's why we got government money for a large portion of it. Then we put a little bit of money into it, particularly in regards to how we can use it as classroom training when it's not used for an emergency. Perfect. And that will particularly help us with our public safety courses, our first responder courses. Del Mar is obviously the primary provider for a lot of firefighting training, police training, emergency first responder training, and that gives us a whole new facility. And of a visual statement, this little dome, under the dome, so to speak, there on the West Campus. Another project that's extremely exciting is our KEDT, our local public broadcasting system. The studios we're in right now are as a part of our Center for Economic Development at Costoris at Staples, and we're adding on a building next to that. Del Mar provided the land. KEDT has raised the money, or through borrowings, and they'll pay back the money to build this building. They're moving from facilities they've been in for 45 plus years over on the south side of town to our campus here. And the significance of that is it pairs what Del Mar College is already doing through its instructional TV and its educational abilities, and it'll provide some additional facilities, and it'll be a shared partnership. There'll be internship opportunities, there'll be training opportunities, there'll be schooling opportunities, and literally KTT is going to rebrand this as the Center for Educational Broadcasting. It's an absolutely wonderful partnership between KEDT, Public Broadcasting, and Del Mar College.
Well, that sounds two big things exciting, the Dome and KEDT.
It is, and then you throw in the fact we've just had a successful bond election back in November, and we're doing all the planning for those campuses. I'm sure the next time we talk on this program, we'll be able to have some new exciting things about the various projects that are rolling out from that.
Well, excited to hear more about this. Well, as an elected representative of this community, do you have any concerns or issues that you've heard from Del Mar College students or residents?
Well, there's always concerns, isn't there? I will tell you the number one concern that I hear from students, and I should pause and say what happens with several of the government classes is they're encouraged each year to write one of the Del Mar Board of Regents, and so we get a number of emails and letters, mostly emails every year, saying, asking us these questions. And just like the old program that says kids say the darndest things, college students ask the most interesting things, and they're fun to hear their questions and answer those questions. But the number one thing they always ask about is parking.
Really?
Not enough parking. And when I was here in 1970, whatever, it was still a problem then. And I think it's because we go to classes largely in the morning or in the evening, so everyone's here at the same time. And that'll always be a problem. And no matter how much you have, you never have enough. But I don't want to say serious level, but another level are issues like there's always funding issues, as we talked about early. There's always concerns about tuition increases and concerns from taxpayers. What I will say, though, largely is because of the great brand and reputation that Del Mar College has, we don't have a lot of people complaining about taxes. They feel like they're getting their money's worth. They know that we provide affordable education, a quality education, an accessible education. And truly, when I talk to people in our community, that I never get complaints about our tax rate. Not like probably some of the other entities in town. But I think people realize that there's great value and great importance in what Del Mar College delivers to our community.
I would agree with you. As a professor, I hear these similar things.
Yeah.
Not about parking, but about how they enjoy the small class size, so they get the one-on-one with the professors.
Absolutely.
They can find us, they can contact us easily, and they do really enjoy the price point that Del Mar College offers.
This time of the year, which is summer, when I have a lot of friends' kids returning home and they're maybe taking a class or two at Del Mar, and they're doing it because they want to keep their education going. They may or may not have been here for their first 2 years. It is affordable, accessible, but they also say it's not easy. We come to Del Mar and we're going to get a good quality education. You don't come here just because it's a community college. You come here because it's a great education and it's affordable.
Got to train those brains.
That's right, exactly.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with us regarding the college?
Oh, we're real excited, certainly as a part of this bond issue, the fact that our community voted in $1.8 million for doing some planning on the South Side campus. That is a huge opportunity for us. It is so rare for a community college to be able to build a ground-up campus, a campus that's going to be ultimately, as we build this out over the next several decades, 100 acres. It's a tremendous opportunity for South Side of Corpus Christi, where a lot of housetops are, but particularly for us to expand and add some programs over there that will help really connect with A&M Kingsville and A&M Corpus Christi, which are fairly equal distance from this new campus location. So we're real excited about that, and are planning a community input process for that.
Oh, well, we can't wait to hear more about that too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for chatting with us today. And
so glad to be here.
Taking your time. If you have questions or comments about Del Mar Now, send an email to now@delmar.edu. Del Mar Now returns with an all-new season in October. We'll hope you'll join us. Until then, I'm Amy Mintz for Del Mar Now. Thanks for watching.